Huh? I give you praise, ancient of days. You're my protector, Prince of Peace, so faithful, in all of your ways. Merciful, holy Elohim, my redeemer. I give you praise. I give you praise. Holy Father, King of Kings, my shepherd, my shepherd. I give you praise. I give you praise. I give you praise. Yeah. Glory, glory, you'll forever be the King, Almighty God. That's why I sing, yeah. That's why I sing, yeah. I give you praises with my voice forever. My power, you're all I need. You're all I need. I want you to use me. Use me, use me. I'm so glad you set me free. Set me free. Set me free. Oh, I'm so thankful you chose me. Chose me. Chose me. Chose me. I praise you constantly, constantly, constantly. I give you praise. I give you praise. Hey, my ancient of days, ancient of days, yeah. You're my protector, Prince of Peace, so faithful, so faithful. In all of your ways, in all of your ways, in all of your ways, yeah. Merciful, holy Elohim, my redeemer, my redeemer. I give you praise, I give you praise, that's in my praise. Holy Father, King of Kings, my shepherd. I give you praise, I give you praise, I give you praise, yeah. 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 I give you praise. I give you praise, yeah. I give you praise, yeah. I give you praise, yeah. Huh?
Shalom, shalom. All praise and glory to the Most High. I'm going to test my microphone, make sure I can be heard. Okay, I think I can be heard. So let me make sure I don't got no other windows open. All praise and glory to the Most High. Shabbat shalom. Let me clear up some of these things here so y'all can see what's going on. All right, there I go. All right, all praise and glory to the Most High. I hope I'm loud and clear. Let me check my microphone. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, I'm good, Brett. All right. So it's about that time, right? Um, we're gonna be addressing my series of Joseph is the father versus the opposite side, the opposing side, or the affirmative side, the virgin birth, brethrens, right? And I'm doing this video because this has been a subject that been pushed towards me when I first moved to St. Louis. I never even had a street teaching debate about it or even a class concerning the topic. But when I came out here, I was basically forced to understand and listen to this concept of the virgin birth. Not that I was ignorant of it, but it was just so contentious. You feel me? And I stand on my stance concerning Joseph is the father. And regardless of the years I've been here in Missouri, been here since 2018. All right, and been coming back and forth since 2015. Right. So as you can see the disclaimer down there, this lesson not to bash anyone who subscribes to the virgin birth system, but to edify the opposing arguments. It's not an open to discuss platform, so nobody will be invited for discussion, right? This is my class, right? This is not a back and forth situation right here, okay? So we're going to hit these scriptures. We're going to go over one of my beloved brothers because he hit me up concerning the matter. He hit me up concerning the matter about reviewing some of his videos that he was doing, talking about my brother Judith Shooter, who I done debate multiple times. I have various conversations concerning the matter here in St. Louis and Texas, wherever we was at, right? And so if you want to watch his videos, right, you can go to Judah the Shooter, right, on YouTube. Okay. I'll go to his page, you can see it, right?
The seed.
This is Judah the Shooter YouTube channel, right? He's based out of St. Louis, Missouri, but he now resides in Texas, right? So he has a video called Numbers 118 Destroyed, the Father Only Doctrine, the Lie Exposed. Okay, right? So I'm going to give him a thumbs up for, just taking time to present his argument, present his information, right? And we all have the right to bring forth your perspective, right? And so what I'm going to do, stop sharing that, and we're going to go into my opening statements concerning what's going on. Okay. So let's begin. Let's not drag this on. I want to be here all day long talking about this. All right. But I do want to edify the point, and it will be edified. All right. So number one, Judas Shooter's numbers 118 argument. Um, Judah's response was essentially Numbers 1 concerns a military census. Therefore, the house of their fathers only describes how fighting age men were organized, not a universal rule establishing tribal lineage through the biological father. His position is that Numbers 118 cannot automatically be applied to Yahushai, tribal identity, or every Israelite genealogy, right? But my rebuttal, right, is Numbers 1 may be a military census, but the purpose of the census does not erase the method used to identify the men. And they assembled all the congregation on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their fathers by the house of their fathers, in bold, by the house of their fathers, right? So let me do this as well. Let me do this as well. Hold on one second. Let me share my screen. Sorry, screen. I want to share my Word document if I can. Let me see. Can I share my Word document? Yeah, my Word document right here. Right. So Numbers 1 may be a military census, but the purpose of the census does not erase the method used to identify the men. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. Numbers 118, which we will come back to this. The text contains three connected classifications. One, their pedigrees, right? You see right there, their pedigree, their families, after their families, right? The house of their fathers. Three key statements in there. Shalom, Mark. Three key statements is there, right? So we need to pay attention, and we're gonna be honest with the text. Okay, um, myself included, got to be honest with the text because we can sit there and add our own biases into the text, right? And this is a fact. I have done it. We all have done it. Let's just be real about the situation, okay? Right? So what we're gonna do is deal with it, right? Because I understand from the virgin birth of the VB's perspective, they need to eradicate this statement because it's very detrimental to their Joseph is not the father and that Christ is from the tribe of Judah, but he didn't come out the loin or the lineage of Joseph, which is crazy because how can he have a genealogy? Why is Matthew even written? Why is Luke written? Right? You see what I'm saying? If he came through the Holy Spirit or celestial entity, then there's no way that he came through. He can be a Judite, right? So they must kill the argument about Joseph, right? So they must kill Numbers 118, right? And so again, I'm gonna say this again. Numbers 1 concerns a military census. I agree with that. So here we go. Therefore, the men were not placed into tribes merely because they were military age. They were first identified genetic, genealogically, right? Genetically. I can't even say the dang word right now, right? Um, Genetically, right? Well, that's genealogically through their paternal fathers' houses, and then counted under the appropriate tribe. The census is the occasion, right? Paternal genealogy is a classification system, right? Just like today, if people come around and do your census, they're gonna ask you your name, personal information, your background, who you are, and all those things. It's all a part of the census. Okay, right? So let's continue. Let me get back. Let me open this thing here so I can be able to see what's going on. All right. Hold on, my bad. All right. So we here. The Hebrew word, the word translated there, they declare their pedigrees come from the Hebrew root yalar, yalad, relating to birth, begetting, or genealogical descent. Right. So let's go to the. Let's go now. Let's do with that. Let's go to the blue letter. Let's see what it says there. Right. So we have the blue letter here. Let me share the screen. All right. Now I'm not a self-proclaimed Hebrew scholar or Greek scholar, but I am one that can learn and read. Right. I am an educated uh brother, meaning I'm educated in the language of English because I went to school. I went to elementary, secondary. I'm a smile or whatever assembly or of wicked behavior, which that's not the context. To beget, to be born, right? To be born, to beget a child to bear, right? Day of birth, birthday to declare one's birth. That's pedigree, right? That's pedigree. If we just go to the freedictionary.com, it says the same thing, right? And the definition is a line of ancestors, a lineage, a list of ancestors, a family tree, right? So we understand that. I mean, let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Let's be crystal clear about this right here. Shalom Ariyah Araya Hawadah, quoted John 6:42. It says, "Not this Jesus, the son of Joseph, father and mother we know. How is it then that he is?" Let me put that on the screen real quick. I want the brother to, brothers up there putting their information up there, right? All right. So so when we go back, so we're reading this here. So we see that verse is highlighting who you are, right? Who you are. Clearly, that's what it's showing. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation here I have. Okay, um, document, right? So, so Yalad related to birth, beginning, or genealogical descent, house of their fathers. So now we're gonna deal with house of their fathers, right? So let's go back to the blue letter. Let's go back. Let's go back. All right. Let's go back. House of their fathers. Habiyath. Bayath. Right? Bayath of their fathers. Okay. Right? So we got Bayath here. Right?
Strong's H 1004. Bayeth. Bayeth.
So it says house, house, dwelling, habitation, shelter, or abode of animals, human bodies of Sheol, abode of light and darkness of land of Ephraim. That's not the context. What is it? Home, house, as containing a family. This we're talking about containing a family, household, family, those belonging to the same household, family of descendants, descendants as organized bodies. And this is not just about my brother Judah the Shooter, but since we are talking about the virgin birth, I'm definitely targeting the things that he said. But we had other groups out here trying to kill Numbers 118, Numbers chapter 1, to push for their doctrines. You see what I'm saying? Uh, you're not just because of the seed of your father when it comes to them talking about other nations and try to eradicate certain tribes and lineages and things of that nature. So, but this is specifically as the title is Joseph is the dad because it's intentional to try to destroy this as if this is a very pinnacle towards the argument against the virgin birth. So let's knock this out the park. So therefore they can't run to this chapter. But we here and we're gonna stay here because it is what it is. It says what it says. That's just what it is. You feel me? On everything, right? Um, so so we see this family of descendants as organized bodies. That's what that statement means. Again, we agree that the chapter 1 is about a military census. That's clear, but that does not change the fact that these soldiers are being organized by their tribes, through their lineage, through their pedigree, through the house of their fathers. That's a fact. It's a fact. All right? I mean, I think I can read a little bit. I don't know everything, but I know something, right? So we got
Strong's H1.
fathers, Abba,
Of. Of.
father, chief, families, desired fathers, right? Father of an individual as God as father of his people, head or founder of a household group, family, or clan, ancestor. You can't be from the Ashanti clan if you're not an Ashanti, or you just uh, 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 honorary Ashanti. But when we ask you through your fathers, or you Ashanti through your father, or you from the Limba tribe, or whatever tribe you from, you know what I'm saying? You have to have a forefather in there. You know what I'm saying? You can't be a pygmy. So like you from the pygmy clan and you stand at 8 feet tall. How is that possible? Right? Head or founder of household, group, family, or clan, ancestor. So this is in the Hebrew. We cannot run from this, right? We cannot run from this. And the Greek doesn't even go against this. Okay? So this is what it is. Producer, generator. Okay? This is what it is. So I don't see how I mean, do you have to really go deep on this? I don't think this is should be even be something to be deep in. Shout out to Jeremiah. Please say to Yah. He knows that, and he's a virgin birth believer, and he would not use this to substantiate the virgin birth claim. Okay, that this is what it is, right? But everybody have their understandings, even or arguments, even in the virgin birth conversation. Everybody have their own subject matters that they want to bring forth. Okay, right? So let's continue my slide, my presentation. Okay. Okay. So we got that. Habiyaf of their Abbas. So Numbers 118 is not merely saying they joined their family's military unit. It says they genealogically registered themselves according to their paternal houses. Who disagree with that still? This basically where we're just at right now. How can you disagree with that? So Numbers 1:8. So supporting evidence within Numbers. This formula is repeated throughout the census by their generation after their families, by the house of their fathers. Numbers 1, 20, 22, 24, 26, and following. Okay? Right? So we can read those. We can read 20 through 26. All right, so let's get that. Let's see what it says there. Let's see what it says there. I see my brother out there dropping some scriptures and all that. Right? So let's look at Numbers 20. And it says, and the children of Reuben, Israel's eldest sons, by their generation, after their families, by the house of their fathers. This is clear. Clear you're being registered not only of age, but of family and tribe through the house of your fathers. The three concepts that was mentioned earlier that I brought out. Okay? This is the facts, people. This is the facts. Okay? Remember these three things: their pedigrees, their families, the house of their fathers. That's clear cut. Their pedigrees, their families, the house of their fathers. Okay? So let's continue. Let's continue. All right. So it goes down. Numbers 121. Those that were numbered of them, even the tribe of Reuben, were 40 and 6,500. So it's just going through the tribes. They got Simeon, Gad, all these people, Judah, all these different people is being numbered there. You feel me? It's being said. Okay, we cannot just dismiss this because we don't agree with the concept if Joseph is the daddy, right? You got to deal with the text says, man, or we inferring all through the script. And that's just the facts, right? Okay, so let me just go back so y'all can see all the way down here saying all the tribes: Zebulon, Joseph, Ephraim, Manasseh, Benjamin, Dan, etc., Asher, Naphtali. Why is these tribes even being mentioned if it has nothing to do with your national origin from your family lineage? How does it have nothing to do with that? Right? It has all to do with that. Okay? And this is the facts, and this is the truth. Okay? So what we're going to do, I'm going to stop that right quick. We're going to go back to the slide, go back to my presentation. Okay? So we have here, we got the formula. This formula is repeated throughout the census by their generation after their family, by the house of their fathers. Numbers 1, 20, 22, 24, 26, following. Numbers 144 also says the tribal princes were, everyone was for the house of his fathers. Can we see that? Let's see that. Let's see that as well. Let's see that as well. Okay, stop sharing. We go back to numbers. We go back down here. We go to 144. These are those that were numbered, which Moses and Aaron numbered, and the princes of Israel, being 12, 12 tribes, 12 princes. Each one was for the house of his father. House of his father again. Okay? House of his father. Same thing by Yah Abba. We don't have to go over that again, right? House of their fathers. Okay? So were all those that were numbered of the children of Israel, and how we know they're Israel? Because they were just there. How we know why we got tribes? Why we got 12 princes from each tribe? If the pedigree and the house of the fathers and all these different things doesn't matter. But the house of their fathers from 20 years old and upward. That's another clause in the qualifications. That has nothing, that doesn't disqualify being from a particular tribe through the pedigree of your father, right? You have to be 20 years old to go to war. But according to the military census in numbers 1, right? They organized these 20-year-olds based off their fathers, their household, and their pedigree of their tribe. They didn't say, well, everybody that's come here, we just gonna, make you be in the army, and we ain't gonna register you, and we're not gonna know who you are, your name, where you came from, who your daddy is. Come on, man. That's everything the Bible says. Let's do all things decency and in order. Okay? Decently and in order. Okay? So let's go and let's continue. And I'm going to go back to my presentation, my notes. Okay? So pull up right here. Everyone was for the house of his father. See that? House of his father. House of his fathers. Right? Even the Levites were numbered according to paternal houses. This is some statements that my brother said in this video. The number the children of Levi after the house of their fathers by their families, number 315. I'm going to review some of this in this video, right? So when we go to Numbers, because certain statements was made, right? So when we go to Numbers 3, let's go to Numbers 3, 2, 3, right? Okay. And so we're going to read about Numbers 3 and verse 15. Right, Numbers 1, 3 and 1. These also are the generation of Aaron and Moses in the day that Yahweh spoke with Moses in Mount Sinai. Right? Okay. Right? And it says, these are the names of the sons of Aaron, Nabad, the firstborn, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, the priests, which were anointed, whom he consecrated to administer the priest's office. Going on and on and on. Right? So we go down, right? We'll read here. It says, matter of fact, let me read 3:11. And Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, and I, behold, I have taken a Levite from among the children of Israel. So they was excluded in the military because the priests are excluded from that. Right? Okay, they're not counted into the military census because they are the priest. So the statements was made about why was they not included, because they are the priests. And behold, I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel instead of all the firstborn, that openeth the matrix among the children of Israel. Therefore the Levites shall be mine, because all the firstborns are mine. For on the day that I smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, I hallow unto me all the firstborn in Israel, both man and beast. Mine shall they be, I am Yahweh. But the tribe of Levi is different, and they have a different office. And Yahweh spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, saying, number the children of Israel. Here we're dealing with numbers, right? Numbers 1 is about numbers, right? Number the children of Levi after, here we go again, after the house of their fathers by their families. Then it says, every male from a month old and upward shall thou number them. So they also being numbered by the house of their fathers, by their families. By their family. Same thing. Habiyath, right there.
Strong's H 1004. Bayeth. Bayeth.
Hayath.
Strong's H 4940.
Mishpach.
Mispacha.
Mishpachah.
Mispacha.
Right? Same thing. It's the same thing. Okay? Same thing. Right? So that's that on that. And things were said about Levi's being not numbered in the video. Okay? So let's go back to my presentation, my notes. Right? Did I stop? Where's my stuff? Hold on. Where's my notes? Satan trying to play games, trying to hide my words from me. What the hell is going on? I don't need the entire screen. What the hell going on? Okay. I don't need the whole thing, but whatever. All right, so we got even the Levites are numbered according to paternal house. The number of the children of Levi after the house of the father by their families, Numbers 3:15. That weakens the military only limitation because the Levites was exempt from Israel's ordinary military census in Numbers 147 through 53, yet they were still registered by the paternal houses, right? So now when we go and read that, right, Numbers 147, let's get that to substantiate what I just read, right? Let's go back. Numbers 147. Levi's exempt in what? The military census. They was exempt in the military census, right? But the Levites, after the tribe of their fathers, who did Levi come from? Levi. But the Levites came through Levi, Jacob's what? Third son? Right? It was what? It was Reuben, Simeon, Levi. But the Levites, the children of Levi, after the tribe of their fathers, were not numbered among them. And for Yahweh has spoken to Moses, saying, only thou shalt not number the tribe of Levi, neither take the sum of them among the children of Israel. But thou shalt appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of testimony and over the vessels thereof, and have all things that belong to it. They should bear the tabernacle and all the vessels thereof, and they should minister unto it, and shall encamp around about the tabernacles. So they had nothing to do about being counted into the military, because their job is to work the temple. So if anybody using that conversation about why was they not in the count of the military, because the Most High separated them from that. Simple. It's not hard. Numbers the 3rd chapter. Okay? It's not hard. It's not hard at all. Okay? So let's continue. Let's get back to my notes. Okay, so we just showed that. Clear as day. Okay? So let's get back. Let me get to my nizotes. I don't know why they're not showing my notes. My word right here. Okay, boom. All right. So, Number 36, the strongest supporting passage. Number 36 shows the tribal inheritance was connected to the father's tribe, right? Everybody should know about the Numbers, the 36th chapter. So shall the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his father, number 36 and 7. So when we go to Numbers, the 36th chapter, right, we're reading about, okay, let's go there. Let's go there. Okay, stop sharing. Let's share again, share again, share again. Let's go to Numbers 36. right? Number 36 and 1. And the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the sons of Joseph, came near and spoke unto Moses and before the princes, the chief fathers of the children of Israel. So the chief princes of all the tribes was there. And they said that Yahweh commanded my Lord to give the land for inheritance by lot to the children of Israel. And my Lord was commanded by Yahweh to give the inheritance of Zelophehad, our brother, unto his daughters. And if they be married to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then shall they inherit to be taken from the inheritance of our fathers. In other words, no transfer of inheritance from one tribe to another because the man didn't have a son. He only had a daughter, and she can marry another Israelite according to the law, right? Outside of her own particular tribe if she chooses to do that, right? But she can't have the inheritance from the tribe of Judah, for example, and go marry an Ephraimite man where he takes the possession. You read that in the book of Tobit, right? So she won't be allowed to do that, okay? And take the inheritance and transfer it to another tribe. It shall be put to the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received, so shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance. So it must stay in the family and in the tribe. And when the jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then shall the inheritance be put onto the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall the inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And Moses commanded the children of Israel according to the word of Yahweh, saying, the tribe of the sons of Joseph has spoken well. Okay? So right there, your tribal lineage, right, the house of your forefathers is very important for inheritance. How are you going to know that? Based off your pedigree, based off the house of your father, based off the three principal things that I said earlier, right? Remember these three principal things. The text contains three connected classifications: their pedigrees, their families, the house of their fathers. Even in this example, right? When you're reading number 36, right? The daughters of the daughters of Zelophehad could inherit their father's property, but they had to marry within the family of the tribe of their fathers. Numbers 36 and 6, right? This is the thing which Yahweh have commanded concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry to whom they think best, only to the family of their fathers shall they marry. Let's see what it says there. See what it says there. Mishkapah, Mat, Abba, same stories.
Strong's H 4940. Mispacha. Mispacha.
Clan, family, tribe, people, nation, period. And how is that going to be recognized? By their father. They recognize by their father, right? You see what I'm saying? But they cannot marry a man and take his inheritance because the man takes control of everything. You understand? Okay? She can go out there and marry a damn Edomite. Then there's a wrap. It's over. Okay? We got here of tribe.
Strong's H 4294. Mate. Mate.
Staff branch tribe. Simple. Okay? Right? Oh, we already know Abba says. Okay? We went through that already. Okay? We could do it again, whatever. It's fine.
Strong's H1. Av.
Right here. Right here. Boom. Head of founder of household, group, family, or clan. Simple. Simple ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. Simple. Okay? Let's get back. All right. This proves an important distinction. A woman can inherit property, right? A woman can inherit property. This bold, put that on bold, right? Her children could receive property through her, but the Lord guarded against that inheritance being transferred from a father's tribe into her husband's tribe. So if she married into another tribe, she would not be able to take the inheritance with her. Okay? Period. Right? That only makes sense if tribal affiliation normally followed the paternal household. Okay? Right? And so brothers also try to use the account in First Chronicles 2:34 about Shushan was a Judite. Shushan had no sons, only daughters. Shushan gave his daughter to Jahar, his Egyptian servant. She bore Atiyah. Atiyah's descendants appeared inside Judah's genealogy record, right? But Judah used this to suggest that Atiyah entered Judah through his mother. And a lot of them do that. A lot of them is trying to use this story, right? Shalom, Mark. What's going on, brother? I'm in the middle of the class. What's going on? Where you at? Just finishing my job. All right, so hit me up. I'll send you the link if you want to get on. All right. If you want to sit there and listen, it's cool. So they try to use First Chronicles 2:34 to go with their virgin birth concept, right? Which is not, it's just disingenuous, man. Right? Our response was the text never explicitly says that Atiyah became a member of the tribe of Judah because his mother was a Judite. Let's go there. Let's go to First Chronicles 2:34. And they keep trying to use this as you cannot use it. You can use it all you want, but it's falsehood. That's just what it is. I don't care who thou art. Okay? All right? And let me say this. I'm not arguing from the perspective when people talk about, oh, One West. I'm not arguing from the perspective of no One West. I'm arguing from the perspective what the Most High gave me. Maharakah. Bunya Hawada, Bunya Sha'ala. Again, I never had a street debate or teaching about this topic, nor did I ever have a class about this topic. I only got bombarded with this information when I came to St. Louis. So please do not sit here and try to disrespect me, you know what I'm saying, or try to minimize the authority that I'm bringing forth with my understanding and research of the scriptures based off One West Israelites, brothers, that tried to coin One West, which is the address, you feel me, and try to apply me to maybe their breakdowns or whatever the case, because I done heard everybody break down. Period. I done listened to everybody join. Okay, so don't think I'm just walking in the park blind. Now Shishan had no sons, but daughters. And Shishan had a servant, an Egyptian, whose name was Jerah. So let's go here. I think Jeremiah and I had this conversation with somebody, my other brother, right? So we got Yabatazar, Shalom, right? So we go here and we see, right, Egypt, Egypt. Black Jesus, I'm in a class right now. I'm doing a class, sir. No problem, sir. Okay. Egyptian equals see Egypt, double straight Egyptian, an inhabitant or citizen of Egypt. How about that? You can just live there and be considered Egyptian or a citizen of Egypt. You don't have to be a physical or biological Egyptian based off the definition here. Look at that in the Hebrew. It says, see Egypt, double straights, an inhabitant, someone that inhabit there, or citizen of Egypt. See that? Or citizen of Egypt. That's a very important statement there. Because what is a citizen? What is a citizen? Let me go to the freedictionary.com. Right? Do people come to America and become citizens? A person owning loyalty to and entitled by birth or naturalization to the protection of a state or nation. A resident of a city or town, especially one entitled to vote and enjoy other privileges there. A citizen, a native inhabitant, or a denizen of a particular place, right? A designate, right? So you don't have to be born in the United States to be now a naturalized citizen of the United States of America, right? I hope we can agree to that. Okay? All right? You can be a citizen based off birth or naturalization, like you live there. I moved to St. Louis. I am now considered a St. Louisian, I guess, right? Because I dwell here. I inhabit, I live here. So even in the definition, right? I thought I was sharing. Am I? I'm not. I'm not sharing. Okay, let me share what I'm reading in the blue letter. My bad. Okay, help me out if I'm going off, y'all. Okay, right? So you can see here an inhabitant or citizen of Egypt, and Mitzrayim or right Mizraim or inhabitant of Mizraim. So it doesn't mean this guy is an actual Egyptian. He could be an Israelite or inhabitant of Egypt. He could be an Egyptian or an inhabitant of Egyptian of Egypt, right? So understand that. So as we go further in this conversation and read about this, it's going to get even more interesting now. From my perspective, right now, Shishak had no sons but daughters, and Shushan had a servant, an Egyptian whose name was Jerai. And you can have a servant, you can have an Israelite servant, you can have an Egyptian servant, right? The Bible tells you can have a heathen servant or an Israelite servant.
Strong's H 5650. Eved.
So here it says slave, servant, man, servant, subjects, servant of worship of God, servant in special sense as a prophet, Levite, etc. Servant of Israel. Look at that. Can't just not dismiss it based off the terminology about the Egyptian, right? Servant as form of address between equals. So that's necessary, meaning he got to be a slave, a servant, a bondage, bondman, bond servant, man servant. So it can be either or in this case. You feel me? But based off someone's argument and position, they are going to determine which account they want it to be to push a narrative, because you know dang well you are what your daddy is. You're not going to sit there and say you gave your daughter over to an Edomite and now he's a Judite and you're being Judah. Stop the cap. Stop it. Just because you're trying to win an argument, now you find something that seems like, oh, this is the right way, the way and the only way. I'm going to twist the ronies, the script, and make it be what I want it to be because I must win the argument. No. Now, Shushan had no sons but daughters, and Shushan had a servant, could have been an Israelite servant, an Egyptian, or an Israelite that was an Egyptian by naturalization, right? Okay, whose name was Jah. And Shushan gave his daughter to Jah, his servant, to wife, and she bare him Atia. Check it out. Who is Shishan? Let's get who Shishan is. Let's just get Shishan.
Strong's H 8348. Sheshan.
Noble.
Sheshan.
A Judite of the families of Hezron, and Jeremiel, son of Ishi, and father of Ali, Ali, whatever. Right? Lily, it also means Lily. Shishan, an Israelite. Right? So we know he's an Israelite. Right? Clearly, right? Based on what we just read. Right? Let's see what this says here. Shushan.
Strong's H
Lily
7799.
flower. Right?
Shushan.
Shushan. Right? We get you a Shushan, baby. I'm gonna buy you some Shushans. Right? Okay. So let's go. So now we got Shushan, and then he had an Egyptian servant, right? And Shushan gave his daughter to Jarha, his servant to wife, and she bare Atia. Let's see whose Atia is. Right? Atia.
Strong's H 6262. Attai.
Attai. Opportunity. Right? It says here, a Judite, in the narration, a grandson of Sheshan, the Jerahmeelite, by daughter of Aliah, whom he gave in marriage to Jerah, his Egyptian slave. His grandson Zabad was one of David's mighty warriors. Now that can go two ways based off my argument, and we're going to read this in the genealogy. All right. So if Atiah is being called in the text here, in the concordance, a Judite, grandson of Shushan, right? The Jerahmeelite, by the daughter of Allah, whom he gave in marriage to Jah, his Egyptian slave. His grandson Zabad was one of David's mighty warriors. How is he a Judite if his daddy is an Egyptian, or was his father and an Israelite that lived in Egypt, right? But this one we got to see now, though. Actually, the names of three Israelites, which that's for the virgin birth, that's a bomb for them. They go like a boom, right? So if that's a bomb, if Atiah is called a Judite, based off he laid with a woman that's a Judite through her father, that kills everything in the Bible. That kills everything in the Bible. So any woman, any man that lay with an Israelite woman based on Judaism is now what she is. So how is this will go crazy bananas. This will go crazy. You feel me? But what we want to know based off the chapter, right? So let me go back to my notes. Then I'm gonna come back to that. Right? Where we at? My notes. Here we go. We disappearing. My notes disappearing again. I gotta do this the long way. Okay. Let me see if y'all can see that. Right? Judah used this to suggest that Atiah entered Judah through his mother. Our response was the text never explicitly says that Atiah became a member of the tribe of Judah because his mother was a Judite. Instead, it describes an exceptional household involving a Judite man without sons, his daughter, his Egyptian servant, the continuation of Shushan household line. Jahar was not simply an unrelated Egyptian husband living independently. He was Shushan's servant and was incorporated into Shushan's household. The genealogy preserves Shushan's family line, but it does not establish a general law that every child inherited his mother's tribe. The deciphered challenge was, where does 1 Chronicles 2 explicitly said that Atiah inherited the tribe of Judah through his mother? It doesn't, right? The Levirian marriage comparison, Numbers 25. And remember, we is reading, right, Strong's commentary, first and foremost. Deuteronomy 25, 5 and 6. So let's not get it twisted. If it doesn't line up with Hebrew culture and practices, then we're not going to accept it, right? But based off the blue letter, citizen, right, and inhabitant versus citizen, all those things could go either he's an Egyptian naturally or he's an Israelite that was considered an Egyptian. So the only way it can make possible sense, if the blue letter commentary talk about he's a Judite, his father was a Judite, right? Deuteronomy 25, 5 says that when a man died childless, his brother would marry the widow. And it should be that the firstborn which she bears should succeed in the name of his brother, which is dead. The child was biologically begotten by the living brother, but legally raised in the descendant's brother's name. This demonstrates that biblical genealogies can preserve legal household identity, inheritance rights, the name of descendant relative. Therefore, apparent in someone's genealogical record does not always prove simple biologically descent through every listed person. And that's why we have Jacob is the father of Joseph. Jacob begot Joseph, and Joseph is the son of Heli. That's going to be a separate class. That's going to be a separate class, right? So let's go back to the blue letter. Let's go back to the genealogy pool there. Let's see what's being said after the fact. And that name is after the name of 3 Israelites. Okay, let me see. I like to look that up. Timely ready. I have to look that up. Atia. I have to look that up. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get back to finish reading that verse. What's going down there? All right. So we have and Shishan gave his daughter to Jahar, his servant, and Shishan gave his daughter to Jahar, his servant, to wife, and she bare him Atia. I didn't. Did we look up? Did we look up Jahar? I don't want to miss anything. Okay, Jahar.
Strong's H 3398. Yarcha.
An Egyptian
Yarcha.
slave of Shishan about the time of Eli, to whom his master gave his daughter or heir as wife, right? Probably of Egyptian origin, probably of Egyptian origin, Jarkar and Egyptian Jahar, right? So probably we have there, so he was an Egyptian slave, but when we looked at the other terminology, it could have been a citizen or a natural Egyptian. Either way, right? This the concept of an Egyptian marrying an Israelite woman and the child becomes a tribe is crazy. And let's see if that's mentioned in the script. And after we got Nathan, and Nathan begot Zabad, and Zabad begot Elphilad, Elphilad begot Obed, Obed begot Jehu, Jehu begot Azariah, Azariah begot Heliz begot Elicia, Elicia begot Shemaiah, Sisami begot Shalom, and Shalom begot Jachamiah, and Jachamiah begot Eskama, right? And then it stops there, and it goes down to sons of Caleb, the brother of Jeremiah were Misha, his firstborn, which was the father of Zep, and the sons of Marisha, the father of Hebron, right? So he continued in the lineage. The lineage continued there, and that was it, right? Now we jump into a whole other lineage, right? So according to the text, there's no mention that being of the tribe of Judah in the text, right? And we understand based off the fundamentals all the way from Genesis. Abraham begot Isaac, Isaac begot Jacob, Jacob begot the 12 sons, right? And the 12 sons, either you came through the lineage of one of the 12 sons to consider yourself a tribe, okay? Now, so these brothers would take this verse here, isolate it, and use it to fulfill their Joseph is not the daddy virgin birth concept, right? Which if you say in one breath, you are what your father is, but then when it comes to Messiah, is a different argument, right? You're a different argument. It's a whole different argument. And so with Shushan is a different argument because now Shushan, all right, if he's an Egyptian, then how the hell is the baby an Israelite? How the hell the son is a Judite? You can't have it both ways. Period. Okay? So if you're going to argue that and say, well, Shushan, right, gave his daughter over to an Egyptian, a natural born Egyptian, and the child is an Israelite, which it never said that, or from the tribe of Judah, which it never said that, in the text, right? Not the concordance. not the commentary, but how is he now an Israelite? Show me some more examples where women of other nations, right? Women of other nations dictated the tribe of their sons. It's crazy work, man. All right, so let me cut this off right quick, and then I'm gonna answer. We're gonna go down and finish answering some of these points here I've written out. And a lot of you brothers that are trying to debate these brothers, man, on this, and they go to those scriptures, man, you're gonna be stuck like Chuck. I promise you. Right? So Ruth was not proved maternal tribal descent. Ruth was a Moabitess, even though his brother tried to say she's an Israelite. I don't believe that she's an Israelite because it says she's a Moabitess. Period. But see how these things interchange? People decide who's going to be who based off their own fundamental understandings. But Obed was begotten by Boaz, a Judite, which is clearly in the scriptures. Right? They say she was a Judite, so she was a Moabitess. She was a Moabite. Right? But Obed was begotten by Boaz, a Judite. Obed's placement in Judah followed his father Boaz, not his mother Ruth. Ruth proved that a foreign woman can be incorporated to Israel and bear a child belonging to her Israelite husband line. It actually fits paternal tribal identification. The Israelite woman, the Egyptian father. Deuteronomy 25:5-6 says that when a man died childless, hold on, wait, well, I'm gonna go down. Hold on. Leviticus 24:10 identifies a man whose mother was an Israelite, whose father was an Egyptian. That's in Leviticus 24:10, right? Same thing. Egyptian man, right? Let's go there. Let's find out if it changes now. It changes. It changes now over there in First Chronicles 2. It changes. Out of nowhere, it just changes now. Okay? So let me share my screen. Leviticus 24, right? And we read in what, verse 10, right? And the son of an Israelitish woman whose father, and the son of an Israelitish woman whose father was an Egyptian. Let's find out what's going on with this. Another concept of that. Israelitish.
Strong's H3482. Yisrael. Yisrael.
Female descendant or inhabitant of the nation of Israel. Right? Let's go and see the Egyptian man. Same concept. Israelite woman and the Egyptian man. What's the difference? Ms. Ryan. Same thing.
Strong's H4713.
It's the same thing.
Mitzrayim.
It's the same exact thing. So the thing is this child an Israelite here? If this child is the same thing, 2 Israelite women, 2 Egyptian men, right? Let's not switcheroo nothing. Okay? It's the same concept. And the son of an Israelitish woman whose father was an Egyptian went out among the children of Israel. The son of an Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp, and the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of Yahweh and cursed. And they brought him unto Moses, and his mother's name was Shelomith, and the daughter of Debri of the tribe of Dan. She was of the tribe of Dan. Right? So was this child a Danite? 2 Israelite women. Is he called a Danite? And they put him in ward that the mind of Yahweh might be showed them. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, bring forth him that have cursed without the camp, and that all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let the congregation stone him. And as the speaker of the children of Israel, saying, whosoever curses his God shall bear his sin. And he that blasphemed the name of Yahweh, he should surely be put to death. And all the congregation stone him with stones, as well the stranger and he that is born in the land, when he blasphemed the name of Yahweh, shall you put to death. So my question would be, is this child a Danite? It clearly says his father was an Egyptian. So now he's a Danite based off the Israelite woman. So Atiyah is a Judite based off his Israelite mother? No. 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 Okay? Clearly. All right, so we can lay that to bed right now. That's out of there. Okay? Let's go back to my presentation, please. All right, so where we at? The son of an Israelite, the woman whose father was an Egyptian, his mother is identified as Shelemite, daughter of Debri of the tribe of Dan. Of the tribe of Dan. However, the passage never states that the son himself inherited membership in Dan. It carefully distinguished his mother's identity and tribe, his father's Egyptian identity, the son as the son of an Israelitish woman that may establish the connection to Israelite community, but does not express assign him his mother's what? Tribe. As was not in the case of in First Chronicles 2. This was our distinction. Membership among Israel, household attachment, legal inheritance, and tribal descent are related, but they are not automatically identical. The argument as it relates to Yahushua, Judah wanted to limit Numbers 118 so that Yahushua could be considered Judite through Mary, even without Joseph being his biological father. This is what's going on. This is the whole purpose of trying to destroy Numbers, to try to push Mary, that the Messiah came through Mary, is a Judite through Mary, which is a lie. Mary's lineage is not even in Luke, the 3rd chapter. I'm going to go over that. Nowhere in the Bible it tells you that Mary's a Judite. But it suggests that she's a Levite, being a cousin of Elizabeth. Right? So, our response was the New Testament never explicitly gives Mary's genealogy. It never expressly says Mary belonged to Judah. Both Matthew 1 and Luke 3 name Joseph in the genealogy. Well, that's a separate class. Hebrews 7:14 says Yahweh sprung out of Judah. Separate class. But it does not say through Mary. Therefore, Numbers 118, number 36 support paternal tribal structure. Therefore, claiming Yahweh inherited exclusively through Mary requires an unstated maternal line rule. Okay? Numbers 1 records a census, but Judah is confusing the occasion with the method of identification. The occasion was a census, the method was genealogical registration. After their families by the house of their fathers, even the Levites who were excluded from the ordinary military census were numbered by the paternal houses in Numbers 3:15. Numbers 36:6-9 further protects inheritance within the tribe of their father. Jahaz's exceptional incorporation into Shishon's household does not produce a verse saying children inherit their mother's tribe until such a verse is produced. Mary cannot simply be inserted as a missing tribal link for Yahushua. Right? So there, let's deal with this. Right? Yes, I'm Lord Patterson. Judah's video contains one important truth, but builds a misleading conclusion from it. His accurate point is the Numbers 1 record a military census, we agree. Not a universal explanation of conception. His error is pretending that because the census was military, the paternal genealogy used to determine each man's trials becomes irrelevant, which it doesn't. Okay? The chapter expressly combines both facts. Military eligibility was the reason for counting the paternal ancestry was what? The system to use to identify their tribe. Judah's position, number 1, is a military census. True. 1 military age males were counted in Numbers 1. True. Numbers 118 does not describe conception occurring. True. But nobody needs it to. The men registered their ancestry during the census. True. House of their fathers is merely administrative, nothing about tribal lineage, right? Misleading and contradictive by the passage. The men were classified primarily by age. False. The age decided who was counted. Paternal ancestry decided where they was counted. The Hippo verb proves the verse has no bearing on descent. False. Grammatical defense, right? Inference. And you have to watch the video. Though I'm not watching the whole video. You have to watch it on your own. The way yet to or whatever from describes an ongoing process rather than a completed past action. Grammatically false. Okay, excluding Levi disproves paternal tribal identification. False. These are statements that was made in the video. Right. Numbers 3, Levi by paternal household. We prove that. Numbers 118 alone disproves every miraculous birth. No, it does not. All right. Numbers 118 alone disproves every miraculous birth. How does that? That's wow. That's crazy. Sarah had a miraculous birth. Rebecca had a miraculous birth. Samuel's wife did, and they all had sex. Numbers 118 provides evidence for paternal tribal classification. Numbers 118 provides evidence for paternal tribal classification. Yes, explicitly. Yes, explicitly. Okay? Yahushua can therefore receive Judah through Judah without textual proof. Not established, and it's false. It's a false statement. They got to get around that. They want to ask the brothers about their conception, their information concerning the birth of the Messiah through Joseph. Well, your argument, you're going to have to prove Mary. How about that? You're going to have to prove it. You're going to have to prove it. And then when you prove it, it's not going to be proof enough anyway. This is why they have to try to go to 1 Chronicles 2 and try to infer and make Attia a damn Israelite. And his father's a damn Egyptian if he's a biological Egyptian. If he is. But you know dang well you're not an Egyptian through your mama. Joseph married an Egyptian woman. And Harry had Ephraim and Manasseh. They wasn't called no Egyptians. Cut it out. Approximately 541, 50, 25, Judah repeatedly emphasized males only, 20 years old and upward, able to go to war, numbered by armies, counted individually. Watch it, it's right here. Okay? That's 10 minutes. We're not watching 10 minutes. All of that is correct. But he frames the opposing claim as though someone believes the men were being biologically born during the census. No. We're not. That Numbers 1 is about enlisting men into the military. Right? It's not about birth. How you was. It's not about that. Okay? After their fame by the house of their fathers, Judah substitute this exaggerated argument. Numbers 118 describes biological reproduction. For the actual argument, Numbers 118 demonstrate how Israel classified tribal descent. That's the accurate classification. Not trying to change the word and make it something that is not even inferring in terms of how the word is being used to defend the virgin birth and to minimize, right, that you are what your father is. It's crazy word. Refuting the first does not refute the second. Census purpose and genealogical method are different questions. Census purpose and, in addition, genealogical method are different questions. Question: who was counted? Males 20 and older, able to fight. Under which tribe were they counted? Their family and paternal house. period. And how is that identified? By your fathers, through your house, through your ancestry, your kindred, all of that, pedigree. The age of qualification did not determine whether a man was a Reubenite, Judite, Danite, or Naphtalian. Okay, your age don't determine what tribe you're from. It determined whether he entered this particular account. His paternal genealogy determined his tribal classification. Numbers 1, 2, 2, 3 places both together. Take ye the sum of the congregation, the number of the children of Israel, after the families, by the house of their fathers, every male from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war. Judah argues that though 20 years of old counsels house of their fathers. It does not. Both conditions operated simultaneously. A modern military may examine a birth certificate to verify age and citizenship. The fact that the purpose is military enrollment does not make the information on the birth record meaningless. Judah's draft comparison actually helps our argument. Documents used for one administrative purpose can still contain genuine genealogical information. Point 3, Numbers 118 explicitly mentions ancestry. The Hebrew is, I cannot say the word, I'm not even going to perpetrate the fraud, right? Al Mishpahotum Levi Ovatum, whatever. A fair translation is they registered, declared their descent according to their clans by their paternal house. The sentence contains several separate elements. They registered or declared their descent, their clans or families, their father's ancestry house, numbers list of names, head by head. Names 20 years of old, head by head, explain the census procedure. They do not erase the preceding genealogical classification. Translations, they say registered still support ancestry. NIV, registered their ancestry by clans and families. Registered according to their ancestry. Registered themselves by clans and their family houses. Recorded their ancestry by their clans and their ancestral families. Judah repeatedly reads translations containing the word ancestry, then concludes the text has nothing to do with ancestry. That is internally inconsistent. Watch the video. His explanation of the Hebrew verb is partly right, but misused. Approximately 36, 13, 43, 31, Judah discusses the correct parsing is approximately root, yalad, associated with bearing, begetting, descent, stem, hip hill, person, number, third person, masculine, plural, narrative form, y, yip, to, contextual meaning, they registered, declared their genealogical descent. He is correct that the men performed the registration themselves. They were not being born at the moment, but his conclusion does not follow. A person can register his ancestry today, even though the births established that ancestry happened generations ago. The present act of registration refers backwards to already existing descent. Okay? The reflective or middle form identifies the action performed by the men. It does not redefine the ancestry they registered. Judah's ongoing imperfect claim is wrong. Approximately 52 it's the 52-minute mark, 14 to hour 25. Judah claims that because the form is associated with the Hebrew imperfect, it represents an ongoing or incomplete action rather than a one-time past event. That is not how biblical Hebrew narrative way told normally functions. In narrative, a told form commonly advances a sequence of completed past events. They assembled the congregation, they registered their descent, Moses numbered them. Therefore, the form does not prove an ongoing registration or something fundamentally opposed to a complete event. Judah is importing a simplified, perfect, complete, imperfect, incomplete classroom description without accounting for narratives, syntax. Or I'm saying it wrong. Syntax has intensive hip fill. Explanation is also confused. The hip hill can express reflective, reciprocal, or middle action depending on the verb. It cannot automatically be reduced to they cause themselves to register. Right? Nor does a Hebrew stem possesses one mechanical meaning in every occurrence, context, and lexical usage control the sense. The proper conclusion is simply the men register or establish their genealogical affiliation. That supports a census and a genealogy simultaneously, right? His biggest mistakes, the Levites, which we went over earlier about when he said that why was they not numbered at that time? It says at 23, 40, 27, 47, gain around 1 minute and 38, whatever, Judah argues. If Numbers 118 started paternal tribal identity, why were the Levites excluded? Were they no longer Levites or no longer their father's seed? This is a false dilemma. Numbers 147 says, but the Levites after the tribe of their fathers were not numbered among them. That verse actually calls Levi the tribe of their fathers. Same wordage as in the earlier verses. Nothing changed. Nothing changed at all. I don't know why this thing is sending me to Clubhouse. It's crazy. Right? It says the Levite was excluded from the particular military total because they were assigned tabernacle service, not because they lacked paternal tribal identity. The Numbers 3 conducts a separate Levitical count, number the children of Levi after the house of their fathers by their fathers, every male for a month or upward shall thou number them, Numbers 3:15. This directly answers Judah's challenge. Military census, 20 years and upward. Levitical census, 1 month and upward. Military service, tabernacle service. Levi excluded, Levi included. Classified paternal houses, classified by paternal houses. The age and role change, the paternal house classification remains. This is probably the strongest textual rebuttal in the entire response. Nothing changed when it came to Levi. The same wordage is there in Numbers 3 as it is in Numbers 1. All right. Judah asked why children were absent from Numbers 1. Numbers 3 supplies the answer. Children could be counted in different senses. When they were counted, they were still classified by paternal houses. The Septuagint supports genealogical classification. The Greek Septuagint renders the passage with genealogical language. The important terms concern genealogical enrollment, kinship groups, house of their father. Therefore, the ancient Greek translators did not understand the passage as merely they proved they were old enough for military service. They understood it as a genealogical registration arranged through paternal houses. The Septuagint preserved the military context and the paternal genealogical structure at the same time, right? Ancient Jewish interpretation contradicts Judah's statement. I don't got to read all that, right? This is some of my notes I put down. Basically, uh, Philo does provide which is a credible source, provide a surviving detailed exposition of Numbers 118 that decides the grammatical dispute. His silence is not evidence for either side. Eusebius is more relevant to the genealogy of Jesus than to Numbers 118. So, in other words, there's some points I want to talk about he admits that men registered their lineage through paternal and play this central claim. I'm gonna play this central claim around 12:22, 13:24. I really don't want to play his video, even though he asked me to go over the video. He didn't actually do a peer review, but I am doing a peer review. But you can see this for yourself. He admits that men register their lineage through paternal houses, but calls it merely military organization. Your response? The military sensitive purpose, paternal genealogy, and the classification method. Okay, so if I have to revisit this conversation, okay, I have questions and we need answers, but we have the answers. Okay, we have the answers, right? You know what the answer is? You know what the answer is? Let me show you what the answer is. Joseph is the father. Military census by tribe, part 1. You are what your daddy is. Let's stop playing the games, right? We're not gonna go to Numbers 118 and try to eradicate that so we can push a narrative in Matthew or Luke. Come on. We're not gonna do that. Let's be integrated with the scriptures. I know we want to push what we believe, but no. All right? We're not going to do that, right? If you want to read Numbers, the whole chapter by yourself, just read it. I mean, it's crystal clear, right? It's about numbers. It's about numbers, but it's also talking about households, fathers, and tribes, right? And we cannot ignore that. Okay, all through Numbers 1, all through Numbers is talking about that. All right. So with that, I think we substantiated the point, man. I'm just gonna pull this out real quick. Go to Numbers in the blue letter. Okay. If I have to do a debate format, future about it, I'm already ready for it. I basically gave some information, but I got more information to deal with that. Um, so Numbers 118. Right? You're reading from Numbers 1 and 2. It's speaking verse 2. Taking some of the congregation of the children of Israel after the families, after their families, by the house of their father, the number of their names, every male by their poles. Males. Male, not women. Male. From 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go to war in Israel. Right? So that's just the number, the age that you can join the military, like in America. Right? You have to be 18 to join the military. Now, when you go there, you got to put in an application. And when you put in an application, you have to put what nationality are you? That's two separate things, right? You want to go to the military, you got to be a certain age. When you go there, you got to put in your personal information, right? And your personal information is going to talks about who you are, right? Are you Hispanic, white, black, Mexican, or Hispanic, non-Hispanic, black? All these different things are going to be asked. Pick one. Which one do you want to pull? Let's not do this, right? As first forward with you, there should be a man of every tribe, every one head of the house of his fathers. And these are the names of the men that should stand with you. Tribe of Reuben, Eleazar, the son of Shedeur. And it's going down, talk about the tribes, the princes, and all of that. And then we come to the climax again. And they assembled, they gathered all the congregation, all the congregation, which is Israel is the congregation. Israel is the church, right? Those are the people that was in the wilderness. Everybody came together, the men, right? Right? This is about the men. This was about the men, right? That's why it says males. That's why it says males 20 years of age. Males. Why the women got to be there? Why they got to be there? They're not going in the military. Every male by their poles. Every male by their poles. There's the answer. Why no men there? Right there. No women and children because it's about the men. That's 20 years of age. Right? That's why. Okay? And so they assembled all the congregation together the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their fathers, their pedigree, after their families, by the house of their mothers. Oh no, it says mothers there? Or it says fathers? Fathers. Doesn't say mother. We're not doing that. We're not going to declare our pedigree after our families by the house of our mothers. We're not doing that. That's not Hebrew. That's not Israelites at all. That's heathen. That's Gentile. Stop. According to the number of the names for 20 years old and upward by their polls, right? So all the VBs out there, you know what I'm saying? This is the first class I'm doing, right? Because I want to make sure I get this out of the way because this is really simple, okay? Right? As I go further, it's going to be getting deeper and deeper, right? Because the VBs do have an argument. You understand? And if you brothers out there jumping out there and don't know how to fight this conversation, you will get crushed. You feel me? So this is the end of my conversation concerning this, right? Let me stop my thing, right? My position, Joseph is the dad. All biblical prophecies concerning the Messiah coming from Genesis through Deuteronomy, through all of Scripture, Psalms, and everywhere it says this. Nowhere in the Old Testament, in the law, in the prophets, Isaiah 20, that it said that the Messiah was going to be born without a daddy. That's crazy work. And we're not going to play semantics and say the Most High is his father, the Most High is Israel's father. Exodus 4:22. The Most High said he was the father of Solomon in 2 Samuel 7. We're not playing that game either. Don't call your daddy your father, because the Bible says, call no man on earth your father except your father that's in heaven. We're going to do that? Then we're going to kill honor thy father and mother. That's go out the window then. That's out the window too then. Right? See what I'm saying? Like, come on, let's not do that. Let's not do that. All right? So all praise going to Yahweh Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Right? I believe I addressed certain points in the arguments, okay, concerning the matter. Right? This is a clear video of you all what your daddy is. Like, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Okay. So in closing, I think I got a couple things I want to say in closing. Right. I agree that number one is a military census. Again, that was never the dispute. The question is, how did they determine which tribe received each man's name? The text answers by his family and the house of his father. Right? All of you that try to use this chapter to disannul that you are of the house of your father through the lineage and the ancestry and through his loins, through his seed. Why was they counted? Right? Right? So Judah proved why they were counted, but he not disprove how they were tribally classified. Military purpose and paternal genealogy are both present in the same chapter. This is for everybody that ran with that or run with that. All of you brothers that was talking about numbers 118 is off and this, that, and the third, because you didn't want to deal with the concept of you are what your daddy is, regardless about how you come out and look, whether you light skinned, whether you dark skinned, all the tribes are Negro and a whole now. You are what your daddy is, man. Okay? Blake Griffin, mother is white, his father is black, right? He married a white woman, his child looks like a white kid. But they black. So-called black. Right? So-called people of color. So if you want to deal with colorism, you cannot deal with placing somebody tribe based off simply their complexion. You will lose that conversation. So with that, all praise and glory to Yahweh Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Right? And that's it, y'all. I got no more to say about this. I did my job, and through the spirit of the Most High, hope you got edified. Right? Shout out, I'm gonna show some of these comments up here. Right? We got some comments, brothers dropping comments all through the show. Through the lesson. Right? But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I'm trying to enjoy the rest of my evening. Right? Trying to see if I can close out with a song. Yeah. How about that? Let's close out with this.
Sabbath day. The seventh day is Saturday. Yes, which day is the Sabbath day? The seventh day is Saturday. What do we keep? We keep the first day. What do we keep as the Sabbath day? We keep the first day. Who changed it? The Catholic Church. Who changed it? It is the Catholic Church. What is the third commandment? The third commandment is to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy.